Long ago, before any Europeans arrived, Brazil was a land of immense beauty and diversity. The vast Amazon rainforest stretched endlessly, teeming with life, while the coastal regions were equally vibrant with lush greenery and pristine beaches. This was a time when the land was untouched by modern civilization, and nature thrived in its purest form. Brazil was full of life and different cultures. The indigenous people who had lived there for thousands of years had developed rich and diverse cultures. They celebrated their heritage through vibrant festivals, dances, and rituals that were deeply connected to the land and its rhythms. Each community had its own unique traditions, passed down through generations. Indigenous people lived all across the land, from the huge Amazon rainforest to the flat areas along the coast. In the dense jungles of the Amazon, tribes built their homes using materials from the forest, creating sustainable and harmonious living spaces. Along the coast, communities thrived on the abundance of the sea, developing intricate fishing techniques and building sturdy canoes for travel and trade. Each group had its own special way of life. Some were skilled hunters, tracking game through the forest with expert precision. Others were masterful fishermen, understanding the tides and currents to catch fish and other sea creatures. Farming was also a crucial part of their lives, with many communities cultivating crops like manioc, corn, and beans, which were staples in their diet. They were great hunters, fishermen, and farmers. Their knowledge of the land and its resources was unparalleled, allowing them to live sustainably and in harmony with their environment. Hunting was not just a means of survival, but also a way to connect with nature and honor the animals they depended on. Fishing techniques were passed down through generations, each method carefully crafted to ensure the sustainability of marine life. They had their own languages, things they believed in, and traditions. The diversity of languages spoken by the indigenous people was astounding, with each tribe having its own dialect and means of communication. Their beliefs were deeply rooted in the natural world, with rituals and ceremonies that honored the spirits of the land, water, and sky. These traditions were not just cultural practices, but a way of life that connected them to their ancestors and the world around them. These indigenous people lived peacefully with nature. They understood the delicate balance of their ecosystems and worked to maintain it. Their way of life was a testament to sustainable living, where every action was taken with consideration for the future. They built their homes, hunted, fished, and farmed in ways that ensured the land would continue to provide for generations to come. They understood how everything in their environment worked together. Their knowledge of the natural world was profound, encompassing everything from the medicinal properties of plants to the migratory patterns of animals. This wisdom was shared through stories, songs, and teachings, creating a rich tapestry of ecological knowledge that was integral to their survival and well-being. Their history is a really important part of Brazil's story. The legacy of the indigenous cultures is woven into the fabric of the nation, influencing its art, music, cuisine, and even its language. Understanding and honoring this history is crucial to appreciating the full richness of Brazil's cultural heritage. The resilience and wisdom of the indigenous people continue to inspire and teach us about living in harmony with the natural world. The year 1500 changed everything for Brazil. A Portuguese explorer named Pedro Álvares Cabral landed on the coast of what we now call Brazil. Cabral said the land now belonged to Portugal. This changed Brazil forever. At first, the Portuguese wanted Brazil's natural resources like Brazil wood, which was used to make valuable dyes. They built trading posts along the coast and started to take control of the land. When the Portuguese found land perfect for growing sugarcane, things really changed. Sugar was super popular in Europe, and the Portuguese knew they could make a lot of money. They built huge farms called engenhos. Because they needed lots of workers for these farms, they sadly brought millions of Africans to Brazil as slaves. Sugar made Brazil's colonies grow, but it also left a very sad part in Brazil's history. By the 1800s, lots of people in Brazil wanted to be free from Portugal. They wanted to rule themselves. In 1822, Prince Pedro, whose dad was the king of Portugal, said that Brazil was independent. This was a big deal. Brazil was no longer connected to Portugal and became a country with an emperor, Pedro I. This was the start of something new for Brazil. Brazil went from having an emperor to being a republic. This was a huge change. In 1889, soldiers took over and removed Emperor Pedro II. Brazil became a republic, which is a different kind of government. Lots of things changed in society, and the economy too. Ending slavery in 1888 was a really important event. It helped make things fairer for everyone. But changing to a republic wasn't easy. Between 1930 and 1954, Brazil went through a lot of changes. This period was marked by significant political, social, and economic transformations that reshaped the nation in profound ways. The country was transitioning from a primarily agrarian society to a more industrialized and urbanized one. This era saw the rise of new political ideologies, the implementation of ambitious economic policies, and the emergence of social movements that sought to address the inequalities and injustices of the past. This time is called the Vargas era, after Getulio Vargas, a powerful leader. Vargas came to power in 1930 and remained a dominant figure in Brazilian politics for over 2 decades. His leadership was characterized by a mix of authoritarianism and populism, as he sought to centralize power while also implementing policies aimed at improving the lives of ordinary Brazilians. Vargas was a masterful politician who understood the importance of appealing to different segments of society, from industrialists to workers. He made big changes to modernize Brazil. Under his leadership, the country embarked on a path of rapid industrialization. New factories were built, infrastructure projects were initiated, and efforts were made to modernize the economy. Vargas believed that industrialization was key to Brazil's future prosperity and independence. He wanted to reduce the country's reliance on agricultural exports and create a more diversified and resilient economy. Vargas wanted Brazil to build more factories so it wouldn't rely so much on farming. This shift from an agrarian to an industrial economy was not without its challenges. Many people had to adapt to new ways of working and living. The transition also led to significant social changes, as people moved from rural areas to cities in search of better opportunities. The growth of industry created new jobs, but it also brought about new social and economic tensions. He also helped workers by creating programs and giving them rights. Vargas introduced a series of labor reforms that aimed to improve the conditions of workers and provide them with greater protections. These reforms included the establishment of minimum wage laws, the creation of social security programs, and the recognition of workers' rights to organize and bargain collectively. These measures were designed to win the support of the working class and to create a more stable and equitable society. The Vargas era was a time of good things and bad things. While there were many positive developments, such as economic growth and social reforms, there were also significant challenges and conflicts. Vargas's authoritarian style of governance led to political repression and the suppression of dissent. Many people were unhappy with the lack of political freedoms and the concentration of power in the hands of a single leader. The era was marked by a complex interplay of progress and resistance, hope, and disillusionment. Some people didn't like that Vargas had so much power and didn't allow people to disagree with him. His government was known for its heavy-handed tactics, including censorship, imprisonment of political opponents, and the use of state propaganda to maintain control. Despite his efforts to present himself as a champion of the people, many saw Vargas as a dictator who was more interested in maintaining his own power than in truly addressing the needs and aspirations of the Brazilian people. The legacy of the Vargas era is a complex and contested one, reflecting the deep and enduring tensions within Brazilian society. In 1964, the military took over Brazil, and this started a very difficult time. The military ruled for over 20 years. People didn't have many freedoms, and if they spoke up, bad things happened to them. Even though some parts of the economy grew during this time, it came at a bad price. The gap between rich and poor people got bigger, and many people weren't allowed to speak their minds. The year 1985 was a super important year for Brazil. After many years of military rule, Brazil became a democracy again. People were so happy to have freedom and a regular government. The country started to heal and fix things. They wrote a new constitution, which is like a rule book for the country, to protect people's rights and freedoms. Brazil was becoming a more open and free country. Today, Brazil is a strong democracy, a nation that has come a long way since its days as a Portuguese colony. The country has made significant strides in establishing a robust political system where the voices of its citizens are heard through regular elections. This democratic framework has allowed Brazil to navigate through various challenges and emerge as a resilient nation, and a really important country in the world. Brazil plays a crucial role on the global stage, participating in international conferences and contributing to global discussions on climate change, trade, and human rights. The bustling metropolises of São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro are not just economic hubs, but also cultural epicenters that attract millions of tourists and business professionals every year. It has one of the biggest economies, ranking among the top 10 in the world. The Brazilian stock market is a testament to its economic vitality, with industries ranging from agriculture to technology contributing to its GDP. The business districts in cities like São Paulo are bustling with activity, showcasing the entrepreneurial spirit of the Brazilian people, and grows a lot of food. Brazil is one of the world's leading producers of agricultural products, including soybeans, coffee, and sugarcane. The vast farmlands and the hard work of Brazilian farmers ensure that the country not only feeds its own population but also exports food to various parts of the globe, playing a vital role in global food security. Brazilian culture, like samba music, is vibrant and full of life. The annual carnival is a spectacular display of this cultural richness, drawing visitors from all over the world to witness the colorful parades and energetic performances. Samba music, with its infectious rhythms, has become synonymous with Brazilian identity, captivating audiences far and wide. And soccer is popular all over the world. Brazil's passion for soccer is legendary, with the country producing some of the greatest players in the history of the sport. From the bustling streets where children play barefoot to the iconic stadiums that host international matches, soccer is an integral part of Brazilian life and culture. Even though Brazil has done well, it still has problems. Some people are poor, living in favelas where access to basic amenities is limited. These communities face numerous challenges, including inadequate healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. Despite these hardships, the spirit of the people in these neighborhoods remains unbroken as they strive for a better future. There's a big difference between rich and poor people, highlighting the economic disparity that exists within the country. While some areas boast luxury apartments and affluent lifestyles, others struggle with poverty and lack of resources. This stark contrast is a reminder of the ongoing need for social and economic reforms to bridge the gap and create a more equitable society. And sometimes government officials are dishonest. Corruption remains a significant issue, with various political scandals making headlines over the years. Public protests and demands for transparency and accountability are common, reflecting the citizens' desire for a government that truly serves the people and upholds democratic values. But Brazil has an amazing history and strong people, who have overcome numerous challenges to build a nation that is rich in culture and diversity. The country's historical landmarks and celebrations of independence are a testament to its enduring spirit and the collective strength of its people. So there's hope for a great future. With ongoing development projects and a focus on innovation and sustainability, Brazil is poised for a bright future. The optimism and resilience of its people, coupled with strategic investments in education, infrastructure, and technology, pave the way for continued growth and prosperity.